really good that you were able to join us. I'm Sarah Davidson from Plain Saver Credit Union. This is Vicky Copeland from Money Advisory Pension Service. Now, Vicky is the Regional Partnership Manager for West London. So thank you for giving up your time today to come along and talk to us about money, because it's really important, really key for people to talk about money. So start off, Vicky, tell me a little bit. What is Talk Money Week? What's it all about? Why do you do it?
Yeah, hi Sarah, lovely to see you too, and everyone that's decided to join on this recording and listen to us today. Talk Money Week is a campaign that has been running for several years, and it's really to try and stop, or to encourage us to be less British about money. A lot of people find it difficult to talk about money. It's kind of the last taboo. And this causes, I suppose, isolation. It means that people internalize any concerns they have connected with their finances, or money worries. This in turn means that quite often people are misinformed or don't know what their choices are when it comes to making decisions, financial decisions, or money choices about buying particular money products, or borrowing money or lending money to people. So it's really an education piece. If we get more used to talking about it, sharing information, there'll be less disinformation.
Yeah, I think that's true, isn't it? So the key really is about that talk, isn't it? And why do you think it's so important to talk about money? And what impact does that have on your financial well-being if you're willing to, raise your concerns and pick up the phone and talk to people?
Well, I think actually it starts at home. It starts even closer than that. A lot of people don't talk about money within their household. So um, partners, people in relationship will have money secrets. They'll have hidden accounts, or hidden debts, and that puts additional strain and stress on a relationship. And it may not be a necessary partnership. It could be children and parents. And I think it's a protective thing that people don't want to share, or perhaps there is a feeling of shame, particularly if it's about a debt. So I think it's really about sort of breaking open those taboos, because if your financial well-being is poor and it's affecting your mental well-being, for example, if you're keeping secrets or you're concerned about things that you don't want to share, that really does affect all of your well-being. And I think, again, if we look at the household, a lot of parents don't want to share money concerns with their children. Again, very natural. We don't want to worry our children about things, but there's so much news media around, and there are things that people will find confusing, children will find confusing, particularly talk about the economy and interest rates, cost of living. And I think actually being open and giving an accurate, and being able to give an accurate explanation about those will take some of the mystery away and potentially some of the fear. I think also being realistic with your family about your money situation as a household, with the rising costs of living, costs of energy, there is less spare cash. And being open and honest about that, everybody knowing what the situation is, means that we can all have realistic expectations of what's going to happen with the family budget or the household budget. So that's the starting point at home. And then after that, it's about finding out relevant information to really help you make the best choices when you're buying financial products, or you're making investments, or you're, as I say, borrowing money or saving money. It's knowing where to go for information to make sure that your choices are well informed and you're not going to run into any difficulties.
So it's important to ask those things. If you don't know something, it's important to ask those things, isn't it, Vicky? Like,
yes, absolutely.
What's your credit score? Why is your credit score important? Those kind of things. Check your credit score. Do you know how to manage a budget? I know my daughter said to me recently, "Oh, Mom, she's just started at university. Can you just help me? I need to plan my budget a bit and manage my money. And how should I do that?" So I know that there's some good tools, isn't there, on the Money Helper website?
Yes, we have lots of good tools actually on the Money Helper website, and that's a really safe place for people to go. So I think that's the first thing I'd like to stress, is that Money Helper is backed, it's government backed. We're an arm's length organisation attached to the DWP, so any information that's on there will be accurate, particularly when it comes to things like taxation. So that's really important. and as I say, any of the guidance or support, A, is free, and B, will be 100% accurate. Really good tools which are free to use. Budgeting is great. It's really good to hear that your daughter thought about making a budget. It's a really good starting point for all of us, not just when she's starting out in managing her finances independently, going away to university, but it's a good starting point for all of us, even us who are a little bit beyond university age. And so we've got good things like budgeting tools. We've got a newer tool, particularly for these times, which is called the Bill Prioritizer, which will help people who might be wondering, doing a bit of juggling with their money, what to pay first, to prioritise to make sure you get your priority bills paid. And also, as part of that tool, there's also information about how to talk to creditors. That's a really important message for this Talk Money Week. Well, we're focusing on credit, but it's if you owe people money, if you've got credit, and a lot of us do have, for example, our bills, our utility bills, council tax bills, those kind of things. It's really important that if you're finding it difficult to pay, that you talk to the people that you owe money to. So we've got some really good tools about how to do that, the tone to use, some scripts if you're really worried about what do you say if you make that phone call. All of these things to give people a little bit more confidence to have these conversations about things that might be worrying them with money.
That's a really good tool, actually, because it must be, if you are struggling and you are struggling to pay, and you've got yourself into debt, and you can't pay all your bills, what do you pay first? I mean, yeah, that's a really, really, and how do you have those conversations? Because it's probably just easier just to put your head in the sand and forget that you've got them, and the letters are coming through the door, and the bailiffs could be knocking. And it's really important, isn't it, to get to people, to get to and tell your creditors, oh, I am struggling, because they can probably help you, and can probably help you put some sort of payment plan in place.
That's correct. And all of them. I mean, I have a lot of dealings with local authorities, certainly within local councils, people who are dealing with debt, council tax debt, business rate debt, all sorts. They are more than willing to help. No one is unique. If you make a call and say I'm struggling, it's a conversation that they have a lot of. They're trained to deal with it. They've got resources to help you as individuals, or to help people as in each individual case. Nobody's going to tell them anything that they haven't already heard. They're really supportive and really keen to help, because nobody wants to get into a situation where anyone has to go to court. It's expensive, it's time consuming, doesn't solve the problem for either side of the party. And that is replicated within the utility companies. The utility companies all have particular pathways to help people out of debt, payment plans. They will help people in vulnerable circumstances. So it's really important to be brave and have those conversations. And the other thing that these types of organisations will do is if they might ask, are you struggling with more than one bill? Is this the only bill you're finding it difficult to pay? And they will refer individuals through to debt agencies to get support. So that's free debt support, always free. It's always freely available. People shouldn't be paying people to help them with their debts. Go and get free debt advice. Lots of resources and routes to that from the Money Helper website. You can call our contact centre, and they'll direct you through to a debt advice service. Really important, and I know it's something that the credit union can support as well. Really important that people go and get that help. It's absolutely confidential, non-judgmental. Again, they've heard it all before. They're there to help. It's absolutely impartial as well. As I say, they're not going to tell anybody about your circumstances. But what they are is the experts, and they know exactly how to support people in whatever pathway. Just don't leave it too late, because it's one of the things that the debt advisors that I talk to, they usually says, I wish people had come to us a little bit earlier. The other thing that they can do is make sure that individuals are maximising their income. So they might, as part of the process, they might say, well, actually, did you know, or with the kind of income that you've got, they'll go through the process, you could be receiving benefits. You are entitled to these. And maximising your income, making sure you're getting everything that you're entitled to, is a really key part of making sure that you don't fall into debt. So that's something else that I would encourage people to do, you know, during this week, during any week really, is make sure that you're getting everything that you're entitled to.
Yeah, I think that's really, really key, isn't it? A lot of people feel reluctant. They don't want to ask for help. They don't want to check if, you know, if they're entitled to more benefits than they've got. There's some sort of stigma and things around it. So I think that's really great advice this week, Vicky. Definitely create a budget if you haven't got one. Create a budget. If you need debt advice, go get it because it's absolutely free and you shouldn't be paying for it. And just have those conversations about money, because the sooner that you can do that, then the sooner people can start helping you. And then hopefully you'll get out of that spiral of debt and back on track. And it's important, as you said right at the beginning, for your financial well-being.
Absolutely. And there's always a pathway back, and people can rebuild their credit scores. You mentioned credit scores earlier, Sarah. People can rebuild their credit scores, and people might get into difficulty. They can equally get out of it. And there's a whole plethora of support and services out there. I mean, Money Helper is one of them, but there are many more resources available. I mean, we love Money Saving Expert. You know, really, really good place to go for hints and tips about how to save money. Some of the consumer protection legalities, all of those kind of things you can find. As I say, and it's all free, and it's all, as I say, backed up with good solid government facts. So people don't have to worry about whether or not it's genuine. And I think one final comment really about this topic of talking about money is it enables us to find out what's real and what isn't, you know, to avoid scams. If we can find out where we're going to get genuine, impartial, free support and information, then that's a great guard against being scammed, people trying to basically take your money from you. So, you know, have those conversations, check things out if you're not certain, you know, with we can do it on our site, and keep safe and keep talking.
Absolutely. Definitely keep talking. Thank you so much, Vicky, for joining us today. I've really enjoyed speaking with you. Take care out there. And yeah, talk money. Really important. Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you, Sarah.
See you soon.